Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Tristcast. I'm your host, Tristan Dario, and I invite you to sit back, relax, catch a vibe, and enjoy the show. Hey, y'all, take a moment before you get settled. Follow the Tristcast and leave a rating. Alright, I'll see you in today's episode. Peace. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of the Tristcast. As you can see, things are looking quite different. And that is because, and if you're not able to see it, if you're not able to see me right now, and you're just listening, I am currently going through what I would refer to home improvement. My family is getting ready to move down to the house that I've been staying at for the last 4 months. They are moving from where they live up north in the state of Missouri to here. And that leads to a lot of things going on. To give you a recap, we went through the entire house. As you can tell, I don't know if this room is not filled with the same furniture that used to be in here. It is more minimalist. There's not as much things here, and it's been quite interesting. It was a very busy weekend. Family came in last week into the weekend. They left yesterday, and it's been so weird. It's like I don't even. So we got a trampoline. When they got in, we set up a trampoline for my family, like my cousins, so then they have something to do while they're here because they're moving here. And one thing that I took upon myself to do when we got the trampoline fixed was I wanted to practice some gymnastics, man. I wanted to do some things that I haven't done, and I wanted to give myself the opportunity to try something new, as is, one of the number one things that I always, promote here is doing things that take us outside of our comfort zone. And one of those things that I did was I learned how to do a backflip. To me, that is some huge growth because as a kid growing up, I wouldn't even make it past my back turnings, or not even turning. What I would do is I'd go to do the backflip, but I would just not flip, and I'd just land on my back or my neck, borderline break my neck trying to do something. And when we got the trampoline fixed, I immediately flipped. I was just like, I'm going to follow through with it. And it was the most interesting experience because I grew up being so afraid of like what would happen if I fuck up and if I don't make this. And now it's like, dude, it's not even about if I fuck up. It's about just learning how to do it and, perfecting it. And over the course of like 2-3 days, I perfected the backflip. Like I landed it. And I'm just like, dude, this feels so awesome. And you can't see it now because I wanted to actually keep it off camera. And for the listeners, you're lucky you don't get to see it. But I tore up my knees. I got trampoline burn. That's what the kids call it. And I'm just like, bro, my left knee is pretty beaten up, and that one hurts the most. But just the whole process of falling down, getting back up, doing it again until you perfect it or you complete it. And that just shows how, committed I am to perfecting my craft. And, the craft will never be perfect, but, what's awesome is I get to put effort into making it better. And, when things are happening in the house and we're able to try new things like this, a new setup with a new location, I'm in my bedroom. So it's different right now, and it's gonna be different for the next week and 2 weeks probably, I think. This is like the final bit of things we're going to be doing before I leave and return to Florida. So it's going to be busy. It's going to be a lot of things going on, and I'll definitely be honest, I've been feeling that in my mind a lot. The whole process of a whole bunch of stuff going on and wanting to complete my, my priorities, my commitments and stuff like that. I'll be a little bit, what is it, transparent. And what I mean by that is, in my mind lately, when I realized, as we were working this past weekend, I realized that, this might get in the way of creating and putting in work to make this come together. And sorry, and as afraid of that as I was, with what if I don't get it done, what if I'm not able to get it done or do it the way that I want, I'm still here doing it. And Emma, she was on the phone with me last night, and she told me, one thing that you've really taken upon yourself and that you really hold, deep, is your commitment to this and how important it is to you to keep doing it. And there's a thing that pops up in my head about committing and working every day or working towards making this. And it's a stand-up from Gabriel Iglesias, Mr. Fluffy. One of his most recent stand-ups, I think it was a stand-up where he sold out an entire stadium, from what I remember. And in it, he goes, when I was getting into this, when I was doing stand-up comedy, I had to miss holidays. I had to miss events because this is my passion. This is my priority. Like, this is something that I cannot take an off day for. Putting in that work, putting in that time is so important. So, even when I was afraid, I hope you can't see the dogs. Like, I hope you can't see the dogs right now. And if you can, I'm going to zoom the hell in. But even when like, you're just putting in that work, I would say putting in that work and not taking reasons why you can't put it in, and like, because I deal with that. I deal with the whole, am I doing what I feel is good enough for me? And if not, what do I have to do to put out or to get what it is that I think is worthy? Like, and the subject of that is my work. And it can just be so, eye-opening. It can inspire growth in the way that I try new things, with the different setup. And, I'm grateful because now when I really look at the room, the room is even more so, like, it's minimalist now. It's not a lot of stuff. I have stuff in neat order. It's more organized than before. I didn't just have some things crowded or stacked, piled up in one place. And it feels a little bit better because now it feels like there's more room to breathe in here, which is really nice. But it's just, it's to be on the subject of getting work done when you got so much other stuff going on around. It's kind of like what we talked about in the past, or even if we haven't, this is a great topic to talk about. And that's when you have the surrounding events of your life happening while you're trying to put in for what it is you love, i.e., your passion, your hobby, what it is that makes you feel flow and what makes you feel fulfilled and what is fulfilling for you. When you have so much stuff going on around you, you can feel so clouded, or you can feel like there's so much fog ahead of you because you're trying to think about what you can do for your work, or what you can create and what you can like transform, or what can be original. And then you're like, well, I need to do this, but I know I need to help out people on this side, or I need to do this to help out, or I need to put in this work too. And it can be difficult to juggle, but I'll definitely say, especially when I started, upgrading different ways that I've been doing this, or, as I've been adding more things to my day, it also strengthens my way of time management, as I've been talking about is so important to me on the topic of, time management, staying in within our time frames of getting work done, getting specific things done. I'm not perfect at it, but I think I'm getting better, and that makes me feel good, and it makes me feel fulfilled. I tweeted about it on my Twitter yesterday, and the tweet was, doing content creation and editing this podcast, making this podcast, and creating this community that I'm trying to build here. It has really shaped my viewpoint of my work and how I work. And so I'm very grateful for the people that kept telling me to keep going and the people who continue to keep telling me to keep going. Because despite the numbers, despite the views, despite the listens or the people who reach out, comment, despite how much in the quantities of those, I still want to do it. And I was talking about this not too long ago with my friend, and it was in the beginning of this, I was so afraid of how I was doing it because I thought I was doing it for one reason, and I didn't realize what the main reason for it was. And I think I got clouded in that. But over the course of continuing the podcast, over the course of months passing and me doing it week by week and then going from 1 a week to 2 a week, it just flushed me into this perception of what I saw this as, and it's just grown. The vision I've had for this has just widened, and it hasn't. It went from narrow to so much wider, because seeing what something can be in the beginning, because you have no idea where it's going to go, all you can see is that you have something that you love and you want to project it. You don't you see yourself going somewhere. And then each time you reach a milestone and you're like, oh my God, who would have thought I'm still here and now I've added this and I've added that. And that also encourages me to keep going, because if I look at it right now with what I'm doing and what I have and how it's been going, dude, the idea of what it will be in the next year, in the next 6 months even, the amount of plans I have, the amount of people that I have by my side, and the amount of people I'm meeting that can come onto this platform and add to the community that I'm building. And that's really what's so motivating for me, is because whether or not people are seeing, whether or not a large sum of people are seeing this right now or not, it's for the fact that I am growing, and this could be seen in a way that so many other people can have that encouragement themselves to grow as well. It's like what I said before. It's not I and you, it's us, it's we. We get to grow together. We get to be these interdependent beings who are constantly learning and growing. And, it's just, it blows my mind with how far I've seen myself come, and the amount of people that I've known over the course of the last 8 months, how far they've grown and who they've become. And just looking at how time can, go. It's like we're almost at, because we're in month 5, next month is halfway through the year already. Like, who would have thought? Really? And, it just blows my mind, because there was months ago that I didn't even think I was going to be alive. There was several months ago I didn't even know if I was going to be alive or where I was going to be. I thought I was going to go broke. I thought I was going to be so many other things than who I was today, because of where I was mindset-wise, where I was on my own security, my confidence. And over the course of this time, I've gotten to get to know these parts of me, especially the shadow self of mine that, didn't realize that if I was unified with my whole self, I could have been, a way different person. But I'm also so grateful for the way that time went and how my path has unfolded. Because I would not be the human being I am right now, would not be this form of Tristan. and I wouldn't be surrounded. I probably would have taken myself out of so many amazing friendships and relationships that I have because of my own, tendency that could be self-sabotaging. And I'm just grateful that I kept going. And that's why, I promote everybody to keep going, whether or not you feel how hard it is, or you're just continuing to be like, yo, I'm surviving, because I know what that's like. I know what it's like to just say, dude, I'm surviving. And to be at that point and to be able to grow out of it and to find a way to see the light even through the darkness and to keep pushing through no matter how hard it may feel. It really opens my eyes. Truly, it opens my eyes. I know so many people who struggle in their own ways and their own paths, and sometimes all I want to do is just give them a hug, but I'm in solitude myself and I'm not able to be there. And it just makes you take into account how other people may be feeling and how their lives have been and are going, and it really helps you see the light on how good you may have it compared, even though I'm not one to compare, but just for this whole point, it's like when you really put your own suffering in a fly on the wall perspective, you see how small it is. And I think I've used this perspective in other places before, and it goes, when you think about the planet Earth and where it is in the cosmos, just in the Milky Way, let's say that for this point, when you think about Earth and where it is just in the Milky Way, and just for it, the fact that at the center of every galaxy is a black hole. At the center of every galaxy is a black hole. Where we are is compared to the outer rim of the Milky Way. So when you take Earth into account and how small it is compared to our sun here, and then you think about how big the entire galaxy is, and you think about how many other planets could be in this one galaxy, it blows your mind. So the point of that is, we look at our suffering, we look at what's happening, and we think about where we are on this planet, where this planet is in the galaxy, and how far away we are from so many different galaxies, and how we are so far deep into the Milky Way. Our suffering could be put down to a speck between our fingers. And it just makes us look at it from a different perspective. But yeah, I think that blows my mind. And it helps me just look at it from a different perspective. What's up, guys? Wanted to take a quick moment and invite you to leave a comment on today's episode. Tell me something about yourself, or tell me something about today's episode that you enjoyed. Peace. And to continue from that thought, it's more, about how we are seeing ourselves moving forward, on how we respond. But at the same time, things aren't going to always be easy. Things are going to have to take us outside of our comfort zone for us to really grow, and we're going to have to do new things. We're going to have to do things that are going to make us feel uncomfortable and scared because they're new. We aren't used to them. They're not a part of our day-to-day ways of doing it. But I feel like that's what also can, invite our own ways to make it better. It's always scary to try something new that doesn't make sense. It's always scary to do something that just doesn't feel normal. but embracing that, just doing it anyway and growing with it and taking the chance, whether or not it feels right or not. And just trying it anyway. And that's all we can do, That's all we can do. All we can do is just keep on trying, keep on finding ways to be ourselves in our most authentic way, and get out of the whole fear of what's right, what's wrong, how is this going to be good, how is this going to be bad, and just going with it. And, seeing life as a means to constantly learn new ways of how we're going to live or how we're going to go about things, it's sweet. I just finished having to unplug a pool pump, an above ground pool pump, and clean the pool. I'm just doing a lot more things around the house. And that just gets me in weird funks because, I go by a routine, and when I get thrown off a routine, I can feel chaotic. And because I've been out of chaos for a good amount of time and I don't see chaos a lot, I feel like my body reacts to the chaos like, whoa, buddy, what is all this shit going on? And that's actually so funny because actually, like, now that I've really say it out loud, I can really understand it better. Yeah, like, so, and this isn't a bad thing. This is absolutely not a bad thing. This is just me experiencing. So, this coming weekend, my family is coming down. They're getting ready to move here. In the 4 months that I've been here, I see them once a month over the course of a weekend. And, lately, because of so much going on, it's been very chaotic. And while I've been here and while no one's really been here and I've been, in my solitude, I got so comfortable in being alone. And I think I'm starting to have to get used to this before I enter back into my life in Florida. Now that I really think about it, it's because I've been so, involved in, the work here and taking in work on myself. I'm starting to have to get reeled back into society because technically, being out in the middle of nowhere, you're not really a part of society. You're just doing and being. And now I'm starting to get a grasp on the energy that's coming back in, the opportunities that are on their way, the abundance that is rightfully mine and on its way to me. It's leading me to have to embrace going through an uncomfortable thing again. And I have to say how grateful I am to continue to go through changes, having to learn new ways to respond and to keep pushing forward. This actually goes back into my, my topic of moving with the change. This is probably a brand new topic. Moving with the change, or even when there's things going on in your life, and choosing to still not just keep putting in the work, whether or not it's good, bad, or what. You never know what's going to happen. Even if you have a hobby, you want to put time into it, but you got other stuff going on in your life, you feel like you don't have time for it, or you feel like the time you have for it is slowly but surely being squished away because everything else in your background is taking over that time. But it's very important in still giving yourself the time to do this, because if your hobby or the job that is what you want to do takes time to do, you have to continue putting time into that, even if there are things going on. I've seen podcasts. There's a gentleman who has a podcast on and he posted on TikTok, and I follow him on TikTok, and his TikTok name is Soul of Jarrett, and he has a podcast. And dude, this man has done his podcast in his minivan, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, wow, if I did that, I could do that. And then I think of my own situation of where I'm at and with what's going on. I'm like, I could do that. I could do this. Why be afraid because it's new and it's not normal for my platform or where I post? Just because it's not normal doesn't mean it's not going to do good. Not even that. Just because I'm in a place that is new doesn't mean that I'm not going to say what I need to say or do what I need to do or make it about what I want to make it about. Because this is all me. This is me. This is my personality. This is how I'm growing as an individual. And it never leaves that purpose of the platform, making a place for everybody to feel welcome, making a place for everybody to know that we're all growing. We're all beings trying to find our way through the journey of life, making sure that we're on the right path or not. And we never really know what's the right path or not. Just make sure that you're always trying to look out for other people rather than just looking out for yourself. Which is crazy. I read something yesterday that Aquarians are on the surface generous, but deep down are selfish. I don't resonate with that. I think that is quite wrong, but hey, I don't know. I don't know where I read that, but okay. And if anyone didn't know, yes, I'm an Aquarius. People say that Aquarians are unemotional and disconnected and detached and don't commit to things. My first thing to anybody is, if I'm not committed to things, I've done this podcast for almost a year now. And that's pretty big to me. That's like crazy. I'm 4 months away. And if I can commit to breaking an addiction, if I can commit to working out consistently, and if I can continue to commit to doing my podcast on the topics and the journey of life that I live and so many other people live, I think it's a great place to build upon. And in these times when there's so much going on and we're still trying to be inspiring or creative or damn near just stay motivated, at least we're trying. At least we're doing something, and at least we're putting something out there for others who may be going through it as well or maybe going through something difficult. I'm here, and I've voiced this quite often. I'm always telling people, feel free to reach out to me. I post my social media in the description every episode. I always promote people commenting and leaving a message on the polls or just leaving a message on the episode on Spotify. You could do anything. Now there's a way that you can send in voice messages for me to hear, and then I can answer them on the next episode and stuff like that. I really like that kind of stuff, especially because I'm a collaborative and I'm an extroverted individual who really enjoys talking to people, meeting new people, hearing people's stories. Like, that's one of my favorite things, hearing personal stories and seeing where people come from and see where people are going and what they're doing and how they carry themselves, what their passions are. That's really meaningful to me, because gaining a deep connection with other people is one of the biggest things we have to do on this life, or in this life. We have to get connected. We have to learn new things, especially on our differences. As I always discuss, it's always about how we can get to know each other and help each other along the way. You never really know you're helping someone until someone comes up to you and says, bro, if I had not heard this from you, or if I hadn't spent this time with you, I wouldn't have been able to make these changes, or I wouldn't have been able to grow in this way like I wanted to. And it's not just giving that person praise, but it's it brings people together. When you're able to count on one another and when you're able to build something with another person, it makes you feel good because you're doing something you're supposed to, connecting with other people and building your consciousness wider with other individuals who have the same goals. And even people who don't have the same goals, just getting to understand people from all sorts of places and going in so many different directions, just being able to network and build relationships with people. You could say that, dude, I would have never guessed that I'd be friends with you because of where I was at this time of my life. If I hadn't met you, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. Just hearing things like that from specific people really can change. It can make a difference, and it can change your life. And I think it should happen more often. I think people should be vocalizing more about how the people in their lives are benefiting them and helping them grow and helping them find themselves on a deeper level because they are coming in contact with people who've already done the work themselves. I mean, who would have thought? Who would have thought now where I'm at, the amount of people that have reached out and told me, bro, I'm thankful that your account has popped up on my feed. I'm grateful that I'm being suggested your content because if I hadn't heard this, I wouldn't have made it through something. That kind of stuff means a lot to me. And I don't know if it means a lot to other people, but, when you get affirmations like that because what you're doing is benefiting not only yourself, but to other people, you can only grow, and that can only grow even bigger. So why not try it? Why not put in the effort? Why not even, give it a chance? Giving it a chance to blow your mind because you have no idea where it's going, you have no idea where it's coming from, and all you want to do is keep going. That's all I want to do, especially because people, people close to me, people who I'm friends with, and, people who I don't even know, just reaching out and saying, dude, this is pretty damn good, or, you have a really good viewpoint on what's happening in the world and how people are going about it. You're talking about things that people aren't really talking about. That inspires me and that makes me feel good. And, doing things that help you get in a place where you feel peace and you don't have so much clouding your mind going on in your head. That could really change your perspective. For sure, it can change your perspective because who would have thought where you are right now and who you are right now was going to happen over the course of what has happened in the last 8 months to a year. Even with everything that was happening and all the stretching we were probably enduring and all of the pulling up directions that we had experienced last year. I don't know about anybody else, but the last year could have been hard for a lot of people, and a lot of those people continue to push forward and are still here today. And those stories are going to be heard by so many different people, and that will ultimately shape others around those individuals because their life and their journey is inspiring when it gets heard by other people who are going through a hard time. People who may not be going through the same thing or people who are going through a similar thing, when they meet or hear people who are pushing through their own suffering and consequences and situations and hurt, pain, love, it can only invite you to say in your own self, hey, I know it's really hard right now, but there are so many people around me that went through their own suffering and are still pushing through. And they are so strong because they endured it. I could either sit down and take a little bit more time, which is more than fine, and I can come back full force and I can get myself where I want to be, or I can just do nothing and I can continue to wallow in self-pity or self-shame myself because I feel like I'm not able to commit to a project or I'm not able to get something done. Everything happens in the right timing. Everything is happening at the time it needs to, and everything is happening exactly the way it needs to. Because it's ultimately helping us grow as individuals, and it's helping us come together more. And I'm happy that I get to be a part of that. I think this is a good spot, I think, you know, for the next couple of weeks, I think things are going to be going steady, a little bit slower because of the amount of work I'll be doing and things are happening. So, whether or not it goes at the level I want or whatever, at least I'm still trying. And I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful to have that mindset. And it has been, it's been given to me by friends who have inspiring words within themselves, not just me. And so with that, I want to say thank you all for standing with me. Thank you all of you who want to be a part of this community and want to see it grow. It really means a lot. And I'm excited for what's to come, and I'm excited for, when I get back to Florida and I'm able to widen this even bigger. But yeah, with that, I want to say I hope you all have a wonderful morning, a wonderful afternoon, a wonderful evening, and a wonderful night. Peace.